Hello everyone, I'm Sam Peterson and welcome to the Millcreek Government Channel, where we highlight the incredible and inspired in our community. Our guests today are Natalie Massing and Celeste McKay of the Second Harvest Food Bank. Natalie Massing has been the Marketing and Media Coordinator with Second Harvest Food Bank for the past 3 years. Celeste has been the Advocacy Coordinator for 2 years. She previously served in the AmeriCorps Vista program at Penn State Behrend. They both work to make a hunger-free community at the Second Harvest Food Bank, a member of the Feeding America network of food banks and distributors across the United States. They plan to eliminate hunger in the 11 counties they serve in Northwest Pennsylvania while creating awareness and education in the community. Natalie, Celeste, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having us, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Great. Getting set to come into September, which is Hunger Action Month. Thanks for having us on so we can talk about that and other things too that Second Harvest Food Bank provides for the 11 counties in our community.
Well, give the viewers a bit of a background about yourselves and maybe your roles in the Second Harvest Food Bank.
Sure. I started in media long time ago. So I've been a radio personality and came back to town to become the media and marketing gal for Second Harvest Food Bank. So it's just the mission here is so important. We're very passionate about it. And I know Celeste has got some wonderful things to say, what she has done prior to coming to Second Harvest.
Sure. I was introduced to food insecurity work at my time at Penn State Behrend, and then I moved into that AmeriCorps Vista program to develop nutrition education for elementary schools in our community. And then I got interested in food rescue because during my time in that program, I realized that there was another issue of food waste in our country, where actually 40% of the food that we produce doesn't actually make it to the tables in our community. So I was asked to run the food rescue program first at Second Harvest, and then I moved into the advocacy position. So I do a lot of advocating for our community members to support their food access.
Okay. So if you could just maybe provide like a bird's eye view of how the Second Harvest Food Bank gets food to people in need.
Sure. We start out, well, actually, we started back in 1982 serving the community. Of course, our counties got larger and larger in Northwest Pennsylvania. But what we do, we are the provider. You know, we buy food wholesale. Of course, we also get food from distributors, Feeding America as well. And then, you know, it's down to those folks that turn around and do a food drive or a fundraiser for us. And then we provide that food to the 376 agencies that we take care of. That's your soup kitchens, your emergency shelters, your pantries. So right now we're at 376 of those that we provide food for.
Wow. That's great. That's incredible.
It is. So, I mean, that's where it starts. So, like I said, we buy the wholesale foods and whatever else that we get. We also are involved into government programs. That's our senior box program for our seniors who get a box once a month. And also our TFAP, which is our emergency food assistance program. Food is provided by the government, and let's talk about that, Celeste, in advocacy, very important roles.
Sure. So TFAP, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, actually provides about 16% of the food that we are able to distribute in our network. So it is one of the most critical federal nutrition programs that is actually reauthorized in the Farm Bill, which is expiring this September during Hunger Action Month. So we have a lot of work to do during Hunger Action Month in terms of feeding our communities, but also advocating for better access for them as well.
Okay. Well, you talked a bit about Hunger Action Month. Can you talk a bit more about that? Can you tell the viewers what would be important this month?
Sure. Well, I think it's just to create awareness more than anything about hunger in our country. First and foremost, you know, we're fighting to end hunger and raising that awareness around the country. So September is our month. And our colors for hunger are orange. So you'll see a lot of orange all September long around Erie County, along the 11 counties we serve, as a reminder to folks that, you know, here in America, we have people that need food, that are food insecure. Right now, within the last Map the Meal Gap, we had over 80,000 folks that are food insecure. and those include our children too. So important work that we have. So then on September 15th, we have Hunger Action Day, and that's like our big day to encourage folks to wear orange, to remind people that, you know, we need to share all the different nutritious foods with people that, and right now we're looking at like a 38% increase from last year over inflation. Our SNAP benefits, those were taken away pretty much. People that were getting SNAP benefits are the Nutrition Assistance Program, better known as food stamps. People were getting like over $200 a month, and now they're back down to $25. So we're seeing huge increases in our Produce Express distributions when we go out and give 30 to 60 pounds of food to those in need in those 11 counties. And we also have 2 Produce Express distributions right here at our very own warehouse at 15th and Grimm.
Yes, when the pandemic era emergency allotments with SNAP did end in February, some of our distributions saw as much as 2 times as many people they were normally serving. And that just really shows the impact that nutrition programs like SNAP has on our communities and our ability to serve the people that are in need. Because when that program changes, it's reflected in the amount of people that are coming to our doors for help.
Right.
So any changes to nutrition programs like SNAP is reflected in our ability to serve our community, and that's why the Farm Bill is so important for us, because it gives Congress the opportunity to strengthen and support the nutrition programs, the federal programs that provide so much assistance to food banks and the people that we serve.
It's good to know that here at Second Harvest Food Bank, we do have a SNAP coordinator, and that is Bonnie Rarick, which you can get right onto our website at nwpafoodbank.org. And Bonnie, you can pick up the phone, dial her, and she can move all your SNAP information forward. She is our coordinator that is the in-between between the government, where you wouldn't have to go in to a government office to sign up for the SNAP program. You can do it right at Second Harvest Food Bank. So that's really a big plus for us too as well.
Do you think enough people in the community get those benefits?
It's a hard question to answer. It is a very administratively burdensome process to apply for SNAP and to even keep your SNAP benefits. So it's a wonderful program. It helps, I think it's 40 million people in the US that are receiving benefits from the SNAP program, but it's not everyone who needs those benefits receiving it.
Okay.
And I do think too, Sam, that there are some people that don't like to go through all the red tape, and that's what they call it, red tape, to get what they're getting, because right now the allotments are very, very small.
And that's exactly why we have someone dedicated on staff to help people actually apply for SNAP and avoid that red tape.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, if people are coming to Second Harvest Food Bank or applying for getting assistance from us, 9 times out of 10, they are eligible for these SNAP benefits as well. So that's what we like to do. We like to involve them in getting into the SNAP and then getting them into one of our Produce Express distributions or finding the closest pantry. We do have an agency locator on the website as well. If anybody is in need, they can put in their address and it'll pop up all the different pantries around them and the times that they can go to the pantry to get what they need. So there are people that will get the SNAP benefits, will do the pantry, and also come to a Produce Express distribution to help them get through the entire month.
So I was going to ask, what are some of the other programs you have available?
Sure. Let's start with child feeding. Childhood feeding is so important for us, and we are getting set. The kids are going back to school. So, we do have school pantries, most of which are open all summer long. The great part about school pantries is we don't just have food for them, but also personal hygiene products. Because if they're coming for food, they're in need of other things as well. So we do that. And then our backpack program will be starting up next week. Our backpack program is where on Fridays, it's a really neat thing, for those that have reduced lunches or free lunches and breakfast, can sign up for the program. And on Friday, administrators at all the school districts. I think we're at like 48 different school districts in the 11 counties. They will pack a bag in the child's backpack discreetly. So nobody really knows what's going on, and they take that food home for the weekend to make sure that they are, sustaining their nutrition while they're not in school. Because most children that are getting the free or reduced lunches really do need the help on the weekends. So our backpack program, we're super excited about that. That's been going on for quite some time. Because if they're not eating adequate food during the week for school, education-wise, they're not going to be able to do the things that they need in school.
Of course.
And all those different things. Nutrition is so very important. But I think somebody here needs to talk about food rescue. That's a really big program for us now, and Celeste she was instrumental in helping that along. So if you want to provide some information about food rescue, that's a great topic.
Sure. So our food rescue program is where we partner with retail stores, restaurants, any business that might have food. Any business that might have food does have food waste. So we see that as, an opportunity to get some highly nutritious quality food that may not be saleable, but is still very safe and nutritious to eat. So we partner with those businesses to rescue that food. We pick it up and deliver it directly to our partner agencies, our pantries, our soup kitchens, so that food can get out as quickly as possible to the people who need it most. So again, it's about 40% of the food that's developed in our country for human consumption doesn't even make it to a person's table. So there's a huge opportunity there, and the program, the food rescue program, has so much opportunity to expand and do even more great work.
Yes, Feeding America, we devised an app last year called Meal Connect, where it connects, say Country Fare has made a large amount of breakfast sandwiches. Doesn't sell all those breakfast sandwiches. So they get on their Meal Connect app, they say, I've got this many sandwiches or whatever to the pantry, and then the pantry is involved, and then the pantry comes, picks that food up, and then immediately gets it out to those that are food insecure. They come to their pantry. So I think, close to 5 million pounds of food was saved from going into the landfill last year. Just within our own organization. Think about that.
Wow.
And yeah, it actually makes up about half of the food that we've distributed as a whole organization. So there is a huge potential there. And not only are we helping feed people, we're also reducing food waste and helping the businesses as well.
Do you see the program growing at all?
Absolutely, yes. We just hired a new food rescue coordinator. She's doing wonderful. She was also from the AmeriCorps Vista program. Mm-hmm. We followed very similar steps. And she is very excited to get the program up to the current state of the world, improving the technology component of it all with Meal Connect, and also tapping into our relationships with our farmers to do some gleaning, which is our program where we get volunteers to go out to do a second harvest at our farms, where they might have some extra produce that they don't plan to sell, and we'll go out and harvest it, and it'll be a donation to the food bank.
Sam, just last week, I was gleaning corn out in Fairview with some great people. Jimmy Renshaw does acres of sweet corn. And then, of course, we bring all this back, and then we bag it up and give it to those in need. It's just nice, because that's one of the things we're really focusing on is the nutritional value of our food too. So that's really important. And then there's, we get squash and, come fall. And of course our holidays are right around the corner. So when a farmer calls and says, please come on out and take what is left. And that's another way that we, conquer food waste. Because, there's apples and there's peaches and there's so many things out there that, they go through and then they say, well, that's enough. But hey, if you want to bring, and that's where volunteers come in. And the volunteers at Second Harvest Food Bank are the foundation of our organization. We would need 6 full-time employees for all the volunteers. And I mean, we're over the 1,000 mark of volunteers. You can go out and glean and get to know the farmers, and it's a lot of fun. You can come into the warehouse and you can work in the warehouse and pack boxes, because ever since COVID, we've been doing distributions, no-touch distributions, but they seem to work best, where people come through the line, they pop open their trunk, we put everything in, and they take right off. It's a really good process for us, and it also allows those families that come the dignity to just come in, boom, take what they need, and go. Very exciting, and I want to add this too on our program today, that we now have Google Translate. We have a lot of immigrants coming into the Erie community and our surrounding areas of 11 counties, and they don't speak English. So we have just provided Google Translate on our website in 11 different languages. So if somebody needs food, they can pop on and translate our website so they can read what we have and what we provide and what we can do for them. So that's really exciting news.
We mentioned a lot of things that I do want to hop back to.
Sure.
So let's start with the volunteers. If someone wants to get involved, how can they?
Well, like I said, there are many ways. They can either go out to a Produce Express distribution. You would be on site with a lot of other wonderful volunteers when we do these distributions in the 11 counties. You come into the warehouse. It's great for when companies and organizations come in together and they'll pack boxes. You can glean. Am I missing any? Oh, and we also have office work.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things that, if you have time and you want to give your treasures to Second Harvest, we will certainly. And all you have to do is go onto the website, pop onto the volunteer tab, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about volunteering for Second Harvest.
Okay. One thing I wanted to go back to, Celeste, I heard you talking a bit about the Farm Bill. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Sure. So the Farm Bill is our nation's centerpiece legislation for food and farming in our country. It impacts access to nutritious food for all Americans, and it especially impacts food banks by moving food from U.S. farms to our food banks, which we can then distribute to our pantries and to the people who need it most. So this year we actually have a very, a once in 5 year chance to reauthorize the Farm Bill to make it strong so that it supports farms as well as food banks and our country's people. So that's a little overview of the Farm Bill.
So what are some of the major challenges from getting it renewed?
Well, it's a very big piece of legislation.
I would imagine.
Very big. It doesn't only cover everything you can imagine farming, but it covers big federal nutrition programs like SNAP, like the Emergency Food Assistance Program, like the Senior Food Box Program, which we didn't mention, but we also have that program at our food bank to provide USDA commodities to our hungry seniors in our communities as well. So all of those programs are all wrapped up in the same bill. So the biggest, that is really the biggest barrier to that program, is just how large it is and how big the process is.
So what would a strong Farm Bill look like to you?
A strong Farm Bill would be one that supports our farmers, it supports the people and the food banks. It would support and strengthen SNAP so that we are not only providing folks with the benefits that they need to purchase food, so that they could also pay for rent in this time of very high inflation and cost of living, but it would also support local businesses in the sense that those SNAP dollars are being spent in local businesses, generating local economic activity, and that it also supports food banks, because the more that people are able to support themselves through these funds, the less demand there is on our programs. A strong Farm Bill would also support the Emergency Food Assistance Program so that we can move more U.S. farmed food to food banks, to our people. And it would also support nutrition options, more culturally relevant foods. We are really looking at diversifying the options that we have for our people, for the immigrants that are coming into our communities, not everybody eats the same, not everybody knows how to cook the same foods. So we're looking for diversity in what we're able to provide.
So it sounds like, it kind of sounds like a no-brainer that people would want to support this program. And if they do choose to support it, how could they do so?
For people in our communities, we are asking that we are all coming together to urge Congress to support a strong farm bill. You can go on our website, nwpafoodbank.org. You can read more about our food bank, our mission, and the farm bill. There is a petition on there linked so that you can help us tell Congress that we need to support these nutrition programs that help food banks, they help people, and they help farms.
And what would happen if it doesn't get renewed?
If it doesn't get renewed, there will be a hold on these programs. More people will face hardship in getting access to food. Food banks won't be able to operate the way that they need to. So we are just really hopeful that it gets passed on time, and we're here as a resource to anyone who has questions. If you're a member of Congress, if you're a member in the community, if you're a business owner, you can reach out to us and we will help you with anything that you need.
Of course. So the last thing I want to ask is, have you guys been seeing an uptick in the amount of support that you need to provide recently?
Absolutely. Within the last year, and we work through a fiscal year, so it is June to July 1st, a 38% increase in families coming through. And of course, it has a lot to do with the inflationary costs of food. People are struggling to either pay their rent or put food on the table. And 9 times out of 10, it's, having electricity on and having your water on and having, those different things that you have to pay come before food. So yes, the uptick has been tremendous. I mean, even more than the pandemic, than we saw during the pandemic.
It sounds like we need a strong farm bill more than ever right now.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We just, the amount of families that are coming through now. And I mean, it's not just families in need, but I mean, and there are, people losing their jobs or being, misplaced in the community, need to get back on their feet. And what's really neat, some of our volunteers that once were in our lines to receive food come back and they volunteer, and they're very grateful for, Second Harvest helping them, because things happen. I mean, there are people, just medical insurance alone that have taken people into the red, that they can't pay for anything else. Medical insurance, prescription drugs, just everything across the board is just so expensive. That's one of the things with the seniors that we're very concerned about. But like the seniors, they get their box per month, but then also can go to the pantry and also can come to a Produce Express distribution. We also help our military shares. We have those in 4 of the different counties right now that we serve. And then, we also have the program, the Healthy Pantry Initiative, which is we have David Godoy, he's a nutritionist. He is on board with us through Feeding Pennsylvania, and he goes out and goes to these different pantries and makes them more like grocery stores.
So is all this information available on your website, right?
Absolutely. nwpafoodbank.org.
Gotcha.
Great.
And then people can go there to volunteer their time as well, to donate?
Yes. Everything's there, and for anybody that needs access to any of our programs, and in whatever language you need.
Okay. Well, Natalie, Celeste, thank you so much for being here today. We learned a lot about the Farm Bill, the Second Harvest Food Bank, and thank you for tuning in to the Millcreek Government Channel. Until next time.